There you go. That's my boy. Um, do you want to get into the discussion that we started yesterday? I know you wanted me to elaborate a little bit on the thoughts.
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
in that case, I'd like you to elaborate on your thoughts first, because so what you said is we can watch from the game one, so you can see and some in the last game. But when I was making good decisions and being what I can only assume is confident. So what you essentially want to do is you want to look at the game and you want to see like the difference between your game one and your game four, or sorry, game one and game
So,
five.
yeah, we can, but my rundown of it is the reason I think I said confidence. Um, but confidence means a lot of different things. What I really think it means is that like I was playing the mid range well, which gave me confidence. But it also the reason I also had confidence was because I knew what he was going to do.
Mm.
Whereas in like game five, the reason I wasn't confident is like I was in disadvantage. And like one of the big things I was happening is like I would escape disadvantage and then fight back into disadvantage.
Mm.
So I don't know. Um I don't know what per se meant I was unconfident, but maybe it was because I was playing at like I was just playing the range like, poorly. But I'm unsure. So
Okay. So it's up to you. Do you want to review that, or do you want to like I guess we can talk about your unconscious decisions as we review it, right?
yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
Sure.
let's do that then.
So this this VOD, yeah, this was the most recent one I played against him, the one that went game 5.
Mm-hmm. That's good
And I
though,
reviewed
right?
this I reviewed this one a fuck ton. Like
Okay.
but literally the day before I played him, and so I haven't reviewed this one as much, but I want to say that I played better in game 1.
Okay.
And like I basically I made him frantic and I overwhelmed him.
Mm.
Uh compared to these games where I kind of like they were close and I just like won.
Okay.
So
Let me get rid of the taskbar. I hate it when it does that.
yeah. The first stock is the only one that matters in the game I just sent you,
Mm-hmm.
because that like set the pace. Um, but yeah.
Okay.
Whereas
So
this one, yeah, yeah, we could just watch this one.
okay. Okay, just the first stock then. Or do you mean
All
the
right, that
first
was the other one, but it doesn't
Okay.
matter. Let's just
Okay.
we could just watch
Let's
and then
watch.
go from there.
Mm-hmm. We take the center. Good defense. Okay. So something that already stands out to me a lot is how delayed your swings are, which is not a bad thing, but that's like thinking about the concept that we discussed last time. It's a pretty quote unquote hard read to make to delay your buttons, because what we're essentially trying to do is we're trying to defend our own space, right? And so if we're doing like short hop landing aerials without like fully retreating, um, when we have rising there, which is essentially also a landing aerial that we don't have to retreat for it to be landing, we're leaving a lot of gaps here. And that's kind of what we're seeing him try to abuse with the rising theirs. And then, so look at like this, not this, but the next one, right? So look at that empty land, and then we go for a landing back, or we get interrupted. We can just kind of legit be spamming rising nair here, because like what does back air do here that nair does not? You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So he breaks through there. And then again, right, landing back air. It's okay because he went for like a run up side B, which is kind of weird. But like imagine like an alternate universe in which he picked the better option, which is run up rising
From
nair
there.
here. Yeah,
Yeah, then I'd be
you
fucked.
just get stuffed. And so that's like
So, what do
watching.
you think?
Go ahead.
You think I should like just use Nair instead of that?
Yeah, so like what I think we should do is we should think about like what does Becker do that Nair does not do? Let's start there. What do you think?
Covers more space. That's it.
Does Becker cover more space?
No, but horizontally in this situation, it reaches out slightly farther than there.
Okay, I think that's totally fair. And so in situations where we're kind of like trying to beat someone out horizontally, it makes more sense to me. And I think
Okay.
like in situations where like they're at a higher percent and we want the knockback of back air, not the knockback of nair, that also makes sense to me.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
But neither applies here.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Good. So here, this is another good example when you're in a corner here. So look at what happens. So we commit to the corner here to escape pressure. And so like in this situation where we're in the corner, I know we use the gun to kind of get out, but if like for example here, if we just roll out here, we're totally fine. You know what I mean? And so like roll is a great option to like I said, right? Like when you're in a bad situation, you can full hop, you can roll, you can dash back. But we get stuck in shield, which I understand we cannot really dash back in the corner. But in these situations, why are we shielding? Why are we not just like immediately like jumping or immediately like rolling or immediately like maybe even down tilting out of the corner? You know, stuff like that. Because like for all of those, if he wants to beat them, the answer is pretty specific. And if the answer is pretty specific, what does that mean? That means that we can just do anything else other than the thing that we did and be fine next time, right? So like let's say we downed it out of the corner and they were like shielding to wait for it. Okay, the next time we just like full hop out, and like what are they gonna do? And so like we're still a little bit passive in these defensive situations. This is good though. I like this. Again, we're using very specific moves. So this is probably the thing that I think you do wrong most. I think this is like, as you can see, this is not like a huge miss, right? Like this could have hit, but for us to hit a back air on this landing, we have to read like 5 different things. You know what I mean?
And it's minimal reward.
Yeah. And so
So
like
like, why
why
would I even go for it?
exactly? And so like against Palu, what is a more consistent way to juggle her? What do you think? What do you think?
Sharking with gun or nair and
So
down tilt.
yeah, so I think actually like the easiest way to catch Palutena's landing is to whiff punish her because she actually like so what do like let's say Fox comes down with a fastfall aerial. What aerial is he gonna throw out?
Nair.
Right. And so the issue with Paula is she doesn't really have a fastfall area to throw out because the only one she has is Nair, which Z's doing right here. And that move just has a shit ton of landing lag, right? And her alternative landing option is down air, which is like, it's not horrible.
Yeah, all she has is fair, which
Right.
covers in front of her.
Exactly. And so like her landing options are kind of limited, especially versus a Joker down tilt, which also goes super low. So if she fares and you down tilt, 99% of the time you're just going under, you know?
Okay.
So again, a little bit specific. It's fine. The down tilts, like I think you've down tilted like 3 times now, and they've hit every single time. Okay, this is good. This is good. Yep, defend your space. I like it. Okay, so like here we're already seeing like gun is not bad, but like if this was like a landing nair, we legit just get like a landing nair into combo starter or a landing fair one. Now I wouldn't recommend fair one as much because you know it's a little bit more committal. But you get what I mean, right? The gun is good, but keep in mind when we see that Z is moving forward, which we know at this point because we hit that gun mix up I think twice here. So this is the first one on forward movement, second one on forward movement, third one on
It's
forward movement.
like I did it, but I wasn't like I didn't know what I wanted to do after I hit that gun.
Right, and so like I actually don't think that's your biggest issue because I think like when you hit this gun, what realistically what do you get out of the gun? There's no true combo, right?
Right. Well, so that's what I'm saying. Like after I hit the first gun, my immediate option was gun and gun
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah,
I
yeah.
kind of didn't know what to do.
Right. So it's fine
So
to go for this gun. We just got to be ready for the follow situation. What I would recommend is like I think gun is a great starting point. If we see that it's starting to work, we should probably shift to something like Nair because what I mean by working is like they're running into it, right? And so the nice thing about gun is like we get a landing aerial that covers this area, which is like that's huge, right? Because this is about where it flinches.
oh
If
my god.
what
And then the Nair covers the only other area.
Exactly. And so Nair covers this.
Yeah.
And so like if we see that we're hitting this part of gun, we might as well use Nair. Gun is great
Yeah.
because it covers both of this. And so like 30 times in a row we're hitting this part. Okay, we're maybe being a little bit too much on the safe side. Again, like I'd rather you do things that are too safe. Don't get me wrong. Um,
Right, right.
but
But I mean, he's given me the information at this
exactly.
point.
And
Yeah.
so like we can definitely transition into more reward here. And like imagine like one of these nairs is replaced by hitting a sorry, one of these guns is replaced by hitting a nair. We just get like full advantage state. You know what I mean? That's great. Okay. Instead they reversal. It's good. So this shield also, like I know why you shield because you feel like she can whiff punish you, but like she cannot whiff punish you here because look at this fast fall. If you fast fall earlier or don't fast fall at all, like you beat her reversal. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like if you early fast fall and she reversals to time that and then you don't fast fall, you just hit her. And so like we shouldn't be scared of a reversal here, as in like drop double jump fair, right? Because like if she gets that, she's super hard red us, which like at this point she shouldn't have been able to. And if she's wrong about it, she's off stage without a jump, and we can definitely like chase and maybe get like a forward air, which maybe kills her. If not, maybe get like a 2 frame, and like you know we can get huge reward there. And so like again, we're a little bit too passive in these defensive situations. We should try to constantly regain control. This is good. Look at this. This is exactly what I mean. So we get this landing back air. Right? We get the extra horizontal range. So this is a great situation to use Becker. I like it. And so like we know that from this position onwards, she is a little bit more actionable than we are. And so we're not shielding. We just dash back. All right, cool. Oh, I accidentally skip forward. But we just dash back. Look at it again. Thank you, YouTube. And now we are controlling the center. This is great. Okay, cross up on the nair. I don't dislike that. Again, you whiff something, just dash back. He dash shielded. Why did he dash shield? Because he thought you were going to continue to swing. Right? And so, like, we just dash back. If we shield there too, now we're in a shitty situation where if she grabs us, we actually dislike that more than us grabbing her. And so, like, we'd rather just, like, dash back. This is good. I like it when you're constantly in motion. Okay, that was a little awkward. Dash up, do nothing.
Another big thing I realized is like how I don't want to say bad, but like fast falling and disadvantage, it limits you to two options: either air dodge or you don't. Whereas like delaying the fast fall, you can go anywhere on the stage, or and then like you could fast fall whenever, and then like there's just more options.
And so, like, I agree with that, but I think there's a little nuance. And the nuance I think there is that you also have the best fast fall in the game, right?
Right.
And so um, if they want to cover your fast fall, they have to be very early about it, right? As in like they have to be pretty early
You have
in
to be
terms of
following me.
yeah, they have to
Yeah.
be positioned correctly. Um, and so the nice thing about fast fall air dodge, I agree that's pretty committal. I think there's three options actually. There's fast fall empty, fast fall air dodge, and fast fall aerial. I think the downside of fast falling is that usually it requires you to jump because you cannot fast fall in a tumble, and the other downside, like you said, is that it can be a little linear. But the nice thing is it requires them to pretty hard commit, and so like that is what I recommend using it for is like in these situations where your opponent's playing more like coverage heavy, you can just kind of like fast fall air dodge, and they're probably going to be too late.
Right.
Okay. Now the game starts. There you go. Kick her. Okay, and so at this point, look at us. So what do you think your main mistake is here?
That I have to land now.
So that's all right because like again, when you land, is actually like a huge mix-up because of your fastfall and because your fastfall's so good. It doesn't actually matter if you land. Like it doesn't even matter that you have to land because you come back to the ground so quickly.
Like I did this because I was like, I felt like he was gonna jump, and I
Yeah.
was like, I'm gonna cover this. But from this position, I could also down air the 2 frame. I mean, the ledge
So
hang.
yeah. So like if he's jumping, what aerial do you want to use?
Fair.
Okay, so
It covers the
ideally,
most vertical space.
right, so
And it's the most
ideally,
active.
if you could pick between all three of your aerials, which one would you want to pick?
Fair.
Is
Just
it
because,
not back air?
well, back air's out less time, and the fair will hang around for the ledge jump duration.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, I
And
think
they would
this
both
is
kill at the same.
I think that's fair. I think Becker, the increased like vertical reach of Becker, I think is pretty valuable. Um, but if you think fair is better, then that's fine.
Well, and that's just for ledge jump, but then the back air is probably better for drop ledge. So I don't know. Maybe it probably is back air if you think that.
So now you're threatening Becker, so it's a very different situation. Ah, that's a shame. Yep, a little bit
So
too less discipline. Too
I
little.
think in that situation, I threaten back air a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't from that position, should I just like turn around and threaten forward air, but like sit by roll distance?
You don't have to. Like, I think what you can do in a lot of these situations is like you can definitely like let it rip. So you let it rip there. Like here, you can just kind of like whiff the back air. And so like what we essentially want to do is we want to press the button because like again, think of it like boxing, right? Imagine you're just constantly throwing out punches and the opponent's waiting for you. Who's more likely to get hit?
The opponent.
Exactly. And so what we're doing is we're just punching. And if they want to run into it, then they run into it. And if they don't, then we don't lose anything. Because like whiffing it back here doesn't like if they roll, we still punish the roll. If they jump, we still catch the jump, right? Like landing back here doesn't actually stop us from doing anything. And so like all of these empty jumps, they're fine. But like what does an empty jump do? Essentially, what does it accomplish?
Just waste shield health.
Right. And so like what you're doing essentially is you're forcing them to pick an option. And so like if you're Z here, like there's got to be a point where he picks an option. And so like the only thing for him from that shield position that beats your empty jumps is like rising fair or like shield drop dash attack, which are both extremely committal positions, right? And so like
Right.
we're either going to want to beat that by actually using the back air, or we're going to want to call out the passivity with like empty line mix up, or like empty line feint. But what we're doing is because we're delaying our pressure so much, essentially we're letting them react to the fact that they're under pressure. And so why does a feint work? A feint works because the opponent is not ready for it. They expect something, and then you give them something else entirely. But because we're feinting repeatedly, of course, to some degree, we're still mixing them up because they don't expect us to feint over and over. But if we're 3 feints in, at that point, they kind of expect it.
Right.
And so we're a little bit indecisive here, which I understand. You have Arsene and you don't want to waste it. I get that. But yeah. Okay, this is fine. We're controlling the center. Keep that control. See, that's where gun was great. This is again, I think your gun usage is good here. Look at this. This is a Nair would not have hit here, right?
Yeah, Nair wouldn't have.
So this is good gun usage. So you can see he's already kind of like thinking like, how the fuck do I move forward? And then he hard commits to the dash attack. This is great. So what should we do now? How should we start defending the center now that we know that he's willing to call us out with dash attack?
With dash back, full hops, or shield.
Right. And so like he's reacting to our jump with a dash attack, right?
Yeah.
Can he
So
react?
just,
Can he react to the jump with our dash attack? Is that like something that he can do?
no.
Okay.
Or,
Yeah, you're right. He cannot. And so like if we show him a jump, what does he do?
I mean, he has to read that I'm not gonna fast fall it.
Essentially, right. And so like what if he's wrong about that, right? And so like all we do here is we empty land and then we dash back our shield and then he dash attacks us and we punish him. And so like these situations, like the rollout, like the dash attack in this neutral, these are the situations that you really have to zoom in on. Because this is where he's super hard committing. In both these situations, he's really hard committing. And in both situations, he's also doing something we didn't expect. Because so far, he hasn't really gone for dash attacks to break our walling, right? And so far, he hasn't really gone for rolls to get out of the corner. And so like these were the only times he did them. And so because they are so unexpected, we have to like pay attention to them. And so it sounds weird, but you can do this unconsciously, right? Like if you train yourself to know what the expected outcome is, you can also train yourself to turn on when it's not the expected outcome. And so that's why I'm pausing in these moments, because what I'm seeing is I have expectations from Z based on both what Palutena does, but also from what I've seen Z do. And every single time he breaks those expectations, I put like a footnote there. I'm like, okay, well, that's something that I want to be playing around in the future, because when he does something unexpected, generally that means that he's committing. That makes sense, right?
If they're doing something unexpected, that means they're committing.
Because we expect them to do the optimal thing. Does that make
Right,
sense?
right. Yeah, that makes sense.
So when he doesn't do the optimal thing, that generally means that he's hard committing.
Right.
Not always, but for Palutena especially, because we have a really good idea of what is optimal for Poly and what is not. The ledge slip, okay. She died for that? Oh, you hit her. That's funny. That was good. Good on your end. Nice. Very nice. Okay. Okay. We take those. Okay. That's fair. Tuck. We get our second Arsene. Oof. See? We were not ready. Why were we not ready? Because we didn't notice that he did the surprising thing. But he figured out when Yeiha controls the center, I have to dash back through. You see how like we could have known, and of course like seeing this once, like it's easy in hindsight, and seeing it once is not going to be like a full bit of information. But we could have at least been ready for the possibility so that we could have punished this, because if we punish this, we'd take like what, like down throw forwarders like 30% or something. You know what I mean? Like
right. Yeah, and you saw center.
Exactly.
Yeah, all that was in my brain was like, just keep this Arsene.
Look at what.
That's why you've seen the awkward roll.
Yeah, no. I get that, and like I don't mind that. I think that's just like practice.
Part of the game.
Exactly. Yeah. Like you're not always going to be super composed. So what was this trade? Do you remember?
It was back air and dash attack.
Yeah, it was dash attack again. So he essentially dash attacked there again. It was a little bit more surprising. He dash up jabbed. So, but the punish is the same. You just fucking grab her. I know the jab is hard to react to if he does another one, but the risk reward is if you do get the grab, you get like 1,000%, and if she gets the jab, then that's a shitty situation. But like you don't even.
That's how I won this game. He was doing that fuck ass jab.
Yeah.
I just up smashed him.
There you go. Good. Roll out. See, and like. Because he's so playing around your gun, you just do literally anything else. So this is great use of your movement mix-ups. And like I said, you just take the initiative, dude. 99% of the time, the opponent's not ready. Just like that dash attack on your shield. Like, dash attack is super punishable, right? Super reactable, right? But you weren't ready. And so, like, the most punishable thing in the game, like a dash attack, like minus 30, like super, like, you're gonna fucking die for this type of shit. You could not punish that because you weren't ready. Let alone a roll in or a full hop out of the corner, right? So we can just take the initiative. And if they do punish us, that means that they were ready, and that means that they were probably focusing on that specifically, and that focus on that we can use to get other reward, right? Okay. Side B usage spotted. No, I'm actually happy that you haven't used much side B so far. I'm happy about that.
No, that's what I was thinking about it after, and I was like, wow, one of the things that I noticed was like, I wasn't side Bing.
Good. Shitty move. Nice. He tried to dash check again. Okay, good mix by Z. He's gonna dash check you. Oh, he actually went for the dash jab to mix it up. Okay.
I think that was down tilt, huh?
Yeah, he jabbed, and then he down tilted because like he thought you were gonna try to punish the jab, but you're not stupid. You know you cannot punish the jab, so it's just a layered mix up because like instead of dash hacking, he jabbed. And then he tried to cover the jab with down tilt, which is smart actually, but very committal. Right, so again, we see like that landing aerial focus here. Right? We can just be more aggressive with rising airs. Rolling again. Why not keep rolling in? He's not covering shit. Fair one. Okay. 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 Okay, that's unfortunate. I think the Nair would have won. Ah, that's a shame. He could have died. So many dash attacks.
Dude, so many dash attacks.
Like at this point, like if I'm seeing this from my opponent, I'm like, I've won a set. Even if I lose a game, I know like I'm winning this fucking set because like if you're relying that much on dash attack to break through whatever it is that I'm doing, like you're so hard committing around what I'm doing super preemptively, like it's over, dude. Like this set is like I know, and I imagine he stops using them as much, or you fuck up. Like that's like at this point, that's the only two outcomes in my mind. I hope for your sake that it's the fact that he stops using them. Another dash attack. Good DI though. You trolled it. It's fine. Right, so this is one thing about Becker that it is good for. Because Becker's a landing aerial, it does allow you to do landing mix-ups, right? So if you're doing rising there, you're walling your space, but you never get like a landing mix-up as in like empty land because they're always waiting for the nair. You can remedy
Right.
that by doing like landing there.
Yeah.
But keep that in mind, right? Like you can do a lot more with your late aerials, as in like empty lands, and then doing just a follow-up button or something like that. I think one thing that I really like about this back air is how early it is. I think it's a really good presence of mind that you press the back air this early in the jump, because you know she cannot punish it anyway, so it's safe in both situations, and it catches her dash most of the time. In that situation, it just barely didn't, but that was really good awareness on the fact that you could have done your back air earlier there. That's good. He does it again. Oh, okay. That wouldn't have been that bad, but it would have been a little bad. I love that. Just fucking get that shitty ass Jap out of here. Holy. Yeah, break your neck. Yeah, I actually think so. Like your rising aerials, you actually don't do enough rising aerials, in my opinion. I do think you do a little bit too many drift in aerials, which is fine. Yeah, I think I discussed most of what I noticed in that game. I think there was a lot of good there, though, which is good. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about for today?
So in the last one we talked about like situation, strategy, interaction.
Yep.
With strategy being the most broad and interaction being the most
Specific, yeah.
specific, yeah. I was kind of having a weird frame of mind looking at situations.
Okay.
But it really is just situations just is an interaction with context. Like right, like so it's maybe it's the same interaction except I have Arsene or I'm at this percent or
Exactly.
this opponent has a turn up.
So a good example of that would be like, okay, we find ourselves in the same like our strategy, like TLDR is control the center and then use walling and whiff punishing to keep control over the center. That's essentially what we're trying to do, right? And so
Right.
within that strategy, what Z started to do was overshoot a dash attack. And so we're in the same situation, right? We're in a situation where we're controlling the stage and they try to contest it and they go for a different interaction. And so in this case, we can ask ourselves, is this situation good? Like, is this a favorable situation? And it is a favorable situation, right? Because like she has to super hard commit to the dash attack. What we can also say is like, let's say we're playing as a Greninja and his dash attack is really good at doing this. What we might say is, okay, we're still trying to play around control in the center, but the interactions in like walling and with punishing are not favorable against Greninja. And so we're going to go for a different type of situation where instead of relying on jumps and dashbacks, we're more relying on like approaching aerials maybe and like dash forwards to pressure the Greninja. And so we're still kind of like playing the same strategy, which is control the center, but we're going for different situations. In this case, the situation being forward movement and grounded play, short hop being mostly grounded because it's the air time is unreactable, looking at it like that, right? Whereas before we did more aerial play where we were walling and more like backwards moving, which is like these create different situations. Do you see what I mean? And so we still have the same strategy. We're still trying to accomplish the same goal, but because the interactions in walling and with punishing aren't favorable, like this, that means that the situation in which we're relying on walling and with punishing is not favorable against Greninja, and so we have to look for different situations, which also lead to different interactions. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You sure?
I don't know.
You didn't sound so sure. That's
Well,
why I
so
asked.
like I get what you mean that like the situation, like the mid-range situation still occurs with Greninja, but instead of like relying on dashbacks, it'll be like with forward movement.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
No, no,
I
no.
don't know.
Tell me. What is it that's not clicking?
Then it's just blank after that.
Yeah, and so like think about it this way, right? We have a strategy. Within that strategy, we're going to find ourselves in certain situations, right? So our strategy can be control center.
And what's that thing Leo always says? You wanna be able to play out the same situations from different positions and play out different.
Right. So the way I would say it is like you want to have multiple ways of playing out a strategy.
Right.
And
There's that.
so we can control the center with aggression. We can do it with walling.
We could do it. Yeah.
We can do it with movement. And so like these are all lead to different situations. That's essentially all it comes down to. And then within aggro, you find like let's say situation X, situation Y, etc., etc. And these all have their own set of interactions.
Right. Okay.
And so like all I'm saying is like if you feel like your strategy is working out but your opponent's just hitting you and it's like okay this should be favorable but it's not, you can look to enact that strategy with different situations, or you can look to focus more on the RPS that you find yourself in within a given situation. So for example, when Z starts dash attacking you in a center, is our strategy bad?
No.
No, it's a good strategy. Is the situation bad?
Do you mean like him choosing the dash attack
Yeah,
or
like is him trying to contest you in a center with dash attack? Is that a bad situation to be in?
no? It's great.
Okay, and so like the issue is not the strategy, the issue is not the situation. What is the issue then?
Well, it has to be the interaction.
Exactly. And so like the issue in those scenarios is that the interaction, like you should be focusing more on the interaction because it's favorable, but because the opponent has a read on you, they're winning, which should not be happening. Do you see what I mean?
Okay.
So we can always kind of like analyze what's going wrong with this structure of situation or strategy situation interaction. Okay?
Okay.
All right, cool. I'm gonna move on. I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you later. I have another appointment in like 10 minutes. So
No worries.
I'll send you the notes and I'll send you the VOD after my appointment. So in like gonna take 30 minutes. So like
Yeah,
40
that's fine.
minutes. Yeah.
But
Okay.
overall, what would you say is your quick thing for me to go from here?
Biggest things. Um, one, take more initiative in bad situations, in bad spots. Two, be more aware of your attack timings, right? So generally, we want to rely on Nair, and then like our other options are more read based. So think about landing options, think about like bear or late Nair, or think about empty land, stuff like that. I want to rely on Nair / gun, by the way. Your gun usage is really good. I like it a lot. These things, like if you can focus on these, that's gonna do a lot for you. Outside of that, I recommend again, like what you want to do. This is also a big thing. When you have your play figured out, that comes with a set of expectations, right? And so those expectations should be carefully utilized in a game. In other words, Focus on surprises. If your opponent surprises you, that means that they're doing something shitty. They're doing something that can work, right, on a read, but where you need a read to make it work, like dash stacking, like rolling out of the corner, right? Like and rolling out of the corner and dash stacking.
Yeah.
Hmm.
No, yeah. This is the perfect way to put it.
Yeah. And so like these are not bad options, right? I don't think that Palutena dash deck is bad. It's one of the best in the game.
Right. Right.
Rolling out of the corner, like I said before, it's just broken as fuck. But if you rely on it, your opponent's making a mistake, right? Like the risk reward for both options are bad enough that they should not be relied on, and Z is relying on them, right? And so we need to punish these things way harder, like way harder.
Right.
This is really like as Joker especially because like think about Joker, right? The nice thing about Joker is that most of your small punishes give you decent reward, right? It's like okay, I get a down tilt, okay, down tilt up air, it's okay, right? It's better than a single hit. You get a
Right.
grab. Okay, down throw, nair, regrab. Sure, it's better than a single hit or whatever it is that you do. So you get like pretty good, okay reward, but you almost never get amazing reward as Joker. It's very hard to get like the forward air one drag down up smash. You know what I mean? It's very hard to get like this the forward smash.
The downer.
Exactly, the
Yeah.
downer, right? And so in these situations where they're giving it to you, we really have to take it.
Okay.
And so like I think you're actually like you've done the hard part already. The hard part is playing it all very, slowly, carefully, respectfully. And I think if I look at your play of that game, dude, I think you play really well. Legit. I think you like of
And
course
then you watch game 5 and then I'm just doing just the worst decisions.
that's fine. Right. And so like what we're trying to do, like the fact that you can make the good decisions is good. Now we just gotta make it consistent.
Right.
And so like with some of this stuff you're maybe doing a little bit intuitively, right? And so what we've done now is we've taken the things that you've done intuitively and we've made you more aware of them. And by making you more aware of them, we're going to make it easier for you to reproduce them. Okay?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right, cool.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
Time to fuck shit up.
Dude, you're already fucking shit up. Now we just got to like not fuck yourself up. You're your own worst enemy. Exactly. There you go. All right. I'll talk to you soon, man.
Later. Thank you.
See ya. Bye-bye.